Hi everybody, Alex here, and today on SYNKE, we're going to answer the age-old question, what the hell is a Nuon? If you want to listen to a CD, you can pop it into any CD player. If you want to watch a DVD, you can use any brand DVD player. But unlike every other format of physical media, video games require hardware from a specific manufacturer. Wouldn't it be easier if there was a unified platform that could play all disc-based video games? There actually was an attempt to create a unified, open-license gaming platform in the late 90s, but it failed spectacularly. That platform was Nuon. Nuon was created by VM Labs, which was founded by Richard Miller, a former Atari VP. Nuon was originally announced in 1997 as a standalone DVD-based game console, codenamed Project X, and was set to release in late 1998. However, it was delayed several times and didn't release until the year 2000. By that point, it had evolved into a media processor chip called Nuon that added enhanced interactive features to DVD players, like a VLM visual synthesizer and the ability to play video games. Unlike traditional game consoles, the technology was open license and was used in DVD players from multiple manufacturers, including Toshiba and Samsung. The hardware itself is virtually indistinguishable from standard DVD players. I have here the Toshiba SD2300 model, and as you can see, it looks just like a generic DVD player. However, if we look closely, there's a tiny Nuon logo on the front, and if we open this panel, a hidden controller port. Nuon remotes are much easier to identify as they're more elaborate than standard DVD remotes. Plus, they'll usually have a button labeled Nuon, as well as buttons for specific Nuon features like zoom. Nuon controllers have become very hard to find and very expensive, but at least they feature a prominent Nuon logo, so they're easy to identify. There were 4 different Nuon controllers available, all of which were very similar to other controllers of the era. The Warrior Digital Gamepad, which looked like a Microsoft Sidewinder PC gamepad, the Logitech gamepad, which is nearly identical to their WingMan action pad for PC, the Korean-exclusive Samsung Nuon controller, which resembles a PlayStation controller, and finally the Stealth controller, which looks like a bootleg N64 controller. As I showed you a moment ago, I personally have the Logitech controller for Nuon, which looks and feels fairly solid, but is sadly a bit unresponsive during actual gameplay. Nuon controllers are near impossible to find these days, but thankfully a company called Songbird Productions has created an adapter that allows you to use a Nintendo 64 controller. Check out the link in the description below for more information. The Nuon platform only had 8 official games released during its lifespan, one of which was exclusive to South Korea. Ballistic is a match-3 puzzle game that requires you to shoot balls from a rotating launcher to prevent them from reaching the center gate. This is an official port of the game Puzzloop by Mitchell Corporation, which inspired several clone games like Zuma's Revenge, Luxor, and Banzai Blast. You may have also played one of the game's official sequels, like Magnetica on Nintendo DS, or Tokyo Crash Mobs on Nintendo 3DS. Ballistic was a pack-in game with Samsung Nuon players, so it's significantly less expensive and much easier to find than other Nuon games. Crayon Shin-chan 3 is a 2D beat-em-up game based on the long-running anime and manga series. This game was only released in South Korea as a pack-in with the Samsung DVD N591 Nuon model. The game is region-locked, extremely hard to find, and obscenely expensive, so it's probably not worth the hassle of tracking down unless you have to own every physical Nuon game. Freefall 3050 AD is a very unique FMV game that features shooting and skill-based gameplay while falling through the sky. The game can be played in first or third person and features 15 levels. The Nuon version got a small reprint from Songbird Productions, but it's also available digitally on Steam. if you want to try out this bizarre but unique game. Iron Soldier 3 is the third and final installment in the first-person, mech-based shooting game series that started on Atari Jaguar. The game was also released on PS1, but the Nuon version features DVD-quality FMV and improved in-game graphics. The original Nuon release is very hard to find, but this game also had a small reprint from Songbird Productions. Merlin Racing is a kart racing game by Miracle Designs that is basically a generic version of Diddy Kong Racing. The game features 10 playable characters, more than 25 tracks, 3 vehicle types, and 4 gameplay modes, including an adventure mode. Merlin Racing is quite expensive these days, but you can check out one of the 4 follow-up games on PS1 for much less. Miracle Space Race, XS Airboat Racing, Rascal Racers, and ATV Racers. The next Tetris is a port of the classic puzzle game available on basically every other gaming platform. The full game was included on a demo disc that was included with Toshiba Nuon DVD players. It never received a standalone retail release. Aside from the FMV intro and some flashy line clearing animations, this is a very basic version of the game and is only worth tracking down if you're a hardcore Tetris collector or going for a full set of Nuon games. Space Invaders XL is a fairly basic version of the arcade classic with a few new features like a time attack mode and a 2-player battle mode. The visuals and audio are mediocre, and there have been numerous better versions released since, so it's really only recommended for hardcore Space Invaders fans or Nuon full set collectors. If there's any reason to own a Nuon, it's Tempest 3000. The game is an updated and enhanced version of Jeff Minter's previous game for Atari Jaguar, Tempest 2000. The game features hundreds of unique levels, psychedelic visuals, new and improved weapons, and an immersive techno soundtrack. While Tempest 2000 was eventually ported to other consoles, Tempest 3000 is still a Nuon exclusive, and copies have become insanely expensive over the last 20 years. Thankfully, Songbird Productions has recently announced an official reprint, so be sure to check out their website for more info. In addition to the games, the Nuon platform also offered special features for Nuon Enhanced DVDs, but only 4 films ended up being released. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, Bedazzled, Dr. Dolittle 2, and Planet of the Apes. Not the original, the awful Tim Burton remake. When you load one of these 4 DVDs into a Nuon DVD player, a Nuon Enhanced Features menu will appear and give you one of 4 options. Viddies, which were short clips from each film arranged into themed sections. Gamma Zooms, which allowed you to pan and zoom on pre-selected still frames from each film. Hyperslides, which is a gallery feature that compares concept art with in-film shots. And Scene Selection, which would allow you to browse through a film's chapters with the movie playing in a mini window that could seamlessly be scaled to full screen at any time. So, despite its somewhat brilliant concept and surprisingly amazing exclusive game, the Nuon was a complete failure. The platform was very quickly overshadowed by Sony's PlayStation 2 and just faded into obscurity. That said, do you think an all-in-one disc-based gaming console could ever work? Something like a 4K Blu-ray player bundled with a standard controller that would play all third-party games right out the box, but then give you the option to purchase controller bundles from the big 3, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, that would come with, let's say, a one-time activation code that would allow you to play all of their games as well. Obviously, getting the big 3 on board and working together would realistically never happen, but it's still an interesting idea. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.